Okay, good afternoon. It is 5:15, July 19th, 2022. I guess we'll look for a motion to call the meeting to order.
Can we do roll call?
Roll call.
Shaven?
All right, I'll call the meeting to order.
Here.
Kroger?
Here.
Black?
Here.
Peterson?
Here.
Lindbergh?
Here.
Rudolph?
Here.
Thank you.
We've all seen the agenda. There's one item on there we may look over a little closer.
See what happens.
I don't think there's any changes or anything we need to look at, add additions or subtractions. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Lindbergh.
Roll call Shaven?
Aye.
Kroger?
Aye.
Black?
Aye.
Peterson?
Aye.
Lindbergh?
Aye.
Rudolph?
Aye.
Thank you.
And state any conflicts along the way, if you have any. Under the consent agenda, minutes of July 5th, 2022 council meeting, claims list 1270 for the amount of $216,587.81. And of those, I guess there were just a few. I don't know if we need to point those out every time or...
We don't have to, but we can. I made a note of the larger ones. Maverick Roofing is the roofing for the wastewater treatment plant sludge drying beds. That was $59,888. Ave Fuel, we purchased fuel out at the airport, so that was $34,300. Also did some tech pointing with Andrew Tech pointing out at the wastewater treatment plant. And some of our quarterly payments, like landfill and ambulance, different things like that we made.
Okay.
So.
Expenditure and revenue reports for the month of June of 2022. Police statistical report for the month of June 2022. And then the 22-23 connections area on aging lease agreement. Anybody have any questions or anything about any of those? Nope. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Blatt.
Shaven?
Aye.
Kroger?
Aye.
Blatt?
Aye.
Peterson?
Aye.
Lindbergh?
Aye.
Rudolph?
Aye.
Present to be heard, a library review. Amanda Brewer. Welcome.
Good evening.
Hi, Amanda.
Let's give you a little update of our last quarter. Jean's going to share with you something that we just finalized today. That's quite exciting. We've been on this journey for a year now. Well, when you have lots of different minds, it takes a little, longer to figure things out. So what you're looking at is our logo and our positioning statement. We worked with Blue Space Creative out of Denison for this. We did put the project out for a bid before we started, but our positioning statement is explore, read, connect, and you can see the book opening is the read, and the explore, which is the world, and the connect, which is the click. So we're excited to start branding the library using this going forward. Staff are excited to use this on their shirts. They really take a lot of ownership in the library, which is nice. So just wanted to share that with you, that we've finalized that and what it looks like. Any questions?
I think it looks fabulous.
It was not an easy task. So next I'm just going to transition into our presentation. Jean is going to do my PowerPoint for me. So this is our July presentation. We added our logo to this. Jean, if you want to skip to the next one. Spring equals growth. So we had 12,553 library materials were borrowed in this last quarter. The previous quarter, it was 9,400. So you can see that going into spring and summer, we have growth. We had 88 new patrons compared to 75 new patrons the quarter before. We had our digital activity went down slightly, down to 3025. It was 3078 last quarter. And the activities attended, we had 1773 people attended library activities. The previous quarter, it was right around 1150. So some significant growth seen mostly in part to our June summer library program that we kicked off on. And then materials borrowed, we had 514 new library materials added the previous quarter, and it went down slightly just because we get close to that budget and we start pinching so we don't go over. And then our staff attended 63 hours of training last quarter. And it's down to 34 this quarter, but that just shows you where our focus is. It's in programming right now and not in staff training. We get a lot of that. Another interesting thing is I looked at the entire fiscal year, and our foot traffic from the previous fiscal year, now we're still growing back from COVID, so our foot traffic was up by 10,000. So that's a significant difference in the year. So next slide, just going to touch on our library outreach. We always outreach to 2 different communities in the summer to do summer library programs. And so in June, you can see here that we went to Westphalia. We've never gone there before because we didn't know what our turnout would be, but they did have a daycare center. And as you can see there, we had a great turnout. And a lot of our Harlan people follow us, and we had the daycare walk down, so it worked out really nice. And again, they're a community that pays for our library service. So this is one thing that we offer to them. The next slide that we're going to talk about is our library pop-ups, which again is a form of outreach. So this is something new that we did this year. We actually went out to area parks. We did the swimming pool park in Little George, and the kids could pick a book out, read it, and take it home with them. There's a lot of people in our community that their kids don't have books, and these books are either donated, or years ago Heidi used to sell books before COVID, and what was ever left they would give us. So we're trying to downscale what we have in the back because it continually grows. Some of them are gently used, some of them are brand new. It's not ones that we would want for our shelf, or they're duplicates of what we have on our shelf. So it's a great program. We continue to plan to do that again next year. And then our next one I just want to touch on briefly is our story walk. It's very popular in the summer, so we change it out every single month. And it takes probably 8 to 15 hours to swap that out. So it's something that we put a lot of dedication into. The colder months, it's probably every 2 or 3 months. But they were super busy this last quarter swapping that out.
Is that all at Pioneer Park?
That's all at Pioneer Park, yeah. Technology, you can really see the difference in our hotspots. So last quarter we had 17 that were borrowed. This quarter we've had 32 borrowed. We have one of them right now that we're having to replace, kind of 2 years now. So it's kind of like your phone. It doesn't work after a while. I think they do that on purpose. So we are upgrading one of our devices, but right now there's 2 to 3 people on wait for each device, and we have 3 of them, well, 2 of them right now. Computer sessions, last quarter we were at 701, we're at 917 this quarter. Most of that is because of all the kids coming in. We've just had non-stop kids, so we're really glad we updated our 2 kids' computers before summer hit. And then our Wi-Fi was up a lot, and again, it's the warmer seasons. People are outside more and connecting to the library. They're sitting outside more. So last quarter we saw about 6,600, and this quarter we're at about 8,700. Now comes the fun part. This is really where we pull people into the library, and it's not just for the programs, but it brings people in and then they look and see what we have and they check things out and they learn about the new things that we have. So this spring we had Kids Fest down at the vets. We did a children's book author presentation and signing. The picture in the middle there of that little girl, she's holding a little flower that has sugar water in it, and then they got to go in the tent and the butterflies got to land on it. So it was a really neat experience. And then in that far corner is a picture of one of the door policemen came to story time. So the kids always like that. Next, for our kids, we had summer fun in June. And you can see there, they just got done with the Bigfoot program that we had in June. Everybody loved it. It was so much fun. They had so many different activities to do. We have our Lego night, and then we did art in the park. And it's a long, hot day. But this year they made paintbrushes with twigs and grass and different things, and the kids got to paint. And then next is, the great thing about our library is that we're able to bring in, big city entertainment for our patrons and offer it for free because we do have sponsors. We had our picnic that was provided by our foundation, and we had an entertainer there, and that was with Jason Cullum. He's a juggler. Ashley's husband got the opportunity to perform with him, you can see there. We also had Duke Otherwise, he came and performed. He was great. We had that down at Vets because of the weather, so we really partner well with other departments. And then we had Michael Albert. He is the artist, and that was a phenomenal event that we had at Turks. So again, the kids program, it was sponsored by the Harlan Lions Club. And just a couple more here is we have our adult springing into the library. So in the spring we did, you can see the air plant terrariums. We had a donor in town donate those. Andrea Miller donated those through her shop. And then we did a embroidery hoop program, and we had an educational program that was an author. And then we transitioned into summer in June, and it's just been so great, but yet so crazy, because we offered adults what they call challenge maps. And so every time they did one of the challenges on the map, their name goes into the jar to win different prizes at the end of the month. And these are just some pictures of, we had an adult program that the library paid for, and one of the adults made it, and it says, what does it say there? Greetings from Iowa. So that was fun. And we did an upcycled bird cage, and you can see they folded it to look like a bird cage, and then they used paper embellishments that they made. And then we did a Holocaust presentation, and those are always really popular. So we kept the adults busy in June. Next slide, just current projects. So, custodian is a position that seems to constantly rotate at the library, so we're onboarding another person through Concern. I strongly believe in providing opportunities to people with disabilities, my prior passion to the library. So we are working with them right now, and we have a job coach, which I used to always say, hey, that's the best thing, you get 2 people for the price of 1. So we have that going on, and then we're going to be wrapping up summer library program. Tomorrow is our kids wrap up, and it's going to take all hands on deck down at North Park because it's like big crazy stuff going on. All I know is I had to bring laundry baskets in, and they're making a axe throwing game. It's just lots of fun stuff. So I'm excited about that. We do have our huge annual book sale coming up August 5th. And so anybody want to come volunteer at the library that first through the 5th, I'd take you 9 to 5 anytime. And then we did send off a RFP for landscaping and architectural services the other day, pending our last board meeting, and Jean's approval, so that we can really start that, so we can thoroughly do the outside project we'd like to use. And it's a big enough project, we feel that get some bids for that and use those services to help us guide us. I know it's a lot of information, but the library is it's a very busy place. Any questions I can answer?
You've been busy. I just telling her, yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it is. It's great. And we did find out that our most senior employee is retiring at the end of this current fiscal year. So we're gonna be working on making changes and getting prepared for that. When somebody who's been here 45 years leaves, it takes a while to come up with a game plan and how we're gonna transition from that, so. Any other questions?
What other communities make contributions?
We have Kirkman, Erling, Portsmouth, Panama, Defiance. It's pretty much all the communities in Shelby County that do not already have a library. So Erling has a library, Elkhorn has a library, so like Tenet doesn't, and Shelby doesn't. With Shelby, we split the contracting with Avoca. They kind of do it half and half. Theirs is quite a large fee that they have to pay.
Thanks for sharing the presentation so the community can see it as well.
Thank you, it's always fun. I don't ever do it till the last minute, but that's how I get things done. All right, well.
What are the X's made of?
What are the axes? Right. All I know is it involves popsicle sticks and something else. You know, I just walk around the library and I see all this chaos and I'm like, okay, I don't know what we're doing, but okay, it's all good. It's for the kids. So something with popsicle sticks. I said, you know, they have these on Amazon to order. And she's like, yeah, but this won't take very long. I'm like, okay.
Are we able to share like this presentation on HMU Farmers Mutual? On their
Yeah.
channels? Or
Yeah,
do
they usually,
task force?
Jonathan North, he usually, I don't know if I sent it to you or we talked last time, and then I think the newspaper also had me send it to them last time. So, yeah.
Good deal.
Good job, Amanda.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Quinn Mahoney, Eagle Scout Service Project Proposal. Used to know this guy. He was a lot shorter and lived next door, and you couldn't see over that podium. He's changed a little bit. Take it away, Quinn.
All right, so I'm here today to propose my Eagle project to you. So start off with my Eagle project is I'm going to be putting up T-pad signs at the disc golf course in Pioneer Park. It's just going to be like a post and a sign that shows the map to the hole, and it's going to have the par and the distance among some other things. Yeah, that's some examples of the signs.
Wow.
Those aren't, we haven't actually made them yet, those are just like examples of the ones that are out there.
What you're going to do is similar to that?
Yeah.
Similar to, obviously, one or two.
So it's going to be like,
It's gonna be like this on the tee, if I understand right, that on the tee boxes.
yeah, so that's what the tee boxes look like, the disc golf course. And my idea right now is I'm just going to put a small concrete pad attached to the side of it, and we're just going to put the post in the middle, and that will make it easier for maintenance, like mowing stuff.
Makes sense.
Wow.
Is that already there?
That concrete pad is.
So the 3x3 is a concrete pad, or is that the sign?
That's an example of the pad. It was just a little thing I drew.
Is that going to happen pending, I guess, approval, whatever it is, like this summer yet, this fall?
I'm planning on finishing it sometime in the next month or two.
Okay. So you've been to Park and Rec, correct? See
Yeah.
some notes down there. We're going to talk about you here in just a little bit. So, okay. And where's this put you in your Eagle Scout project? I mean, your Eagle Scout process. I mean, how far along are you in that?
I just have this and a few more merit badges, and then I'll be ready to be
What grade are you entering this year in school?
junior.
Junior. How long you been working on the Eagle Scout part?
I think started maybe a few months ago.
As far as this project, but your whole Eagle Scout started when? I mean,
Oh, my whole Eagle Scout. Well, I joined Scouts when I was 10,
okay.
and I think I did my newest rank sometime last year. And I've just been working on badges since then.
How old are you now?
I'm 16.
16?
I turned 17 this month.
Good deal.
Anybody else have any questions or
No, I think it's a great project.
Just how funding you're looking towards and.
So for my funding, could you pull up the picture of the exact signs? For my funding, I took the idea from Sunny Sign Atlantic course. Their sign is the one in the middle. And I don't know if you can see it, but at the bottom, they had a sponsor for each hole.
Yep.
So they just had different businesses sponsor each one. And that's how I was trying to raise money for it.
So what's the approximate cost of a sign?
One sign. I don't remember the whole signs, but I think for like the entire thing, it was somewhere in the ballpark of $250 for all signs.
$250 for 9 signs?
You know, sponsor on nine, so you were saying.
Yeah.
So have you seek sponsorship from businesses yet or not?
No, I haven't started yet.
Okay.
So are you doing that by letters or
I was probably just gonna go in and try and talk to them.
face to face?
Instead of,
That's all I have.
Lots of good life development skills.
Yeah.
Cold call.
Count 3 businesses.
I was gonna say, give me a call.
Do you already have a few businesses in mind that you're gonna approach in reference to this, or?
well, we already have one technically for hole 1.
Okay.
It's the Boy Scouts because they want our own troop to sponsor a hole. And I think State Farm was reaching out because they wanted to do one.
Okay. Yeah, I bet you get good feedback. I mean, good.
You probably
could.
So if we have businesses who are watching this, is there a contact they can reach out to you? Or would you rather not go there?
Someone's shaking their head yes back there.
Do you have a number or
Yep.
Give them your mom.
My number, if you want to reach out to me, is 712-304-5449. That's,
5449?
yeah.
Thank you.
That's your cell phone? Anybody have a landline? Do you have a landline at your house? Do you have a real phone at your house?
Nobody has that anymore.
Yeah, say that.
I don't know that
Yeah.
those are.
Anybody has a
thought out.
landline?
Do you
One
have
of
a
those rotary
landline?
phones. Yeah, I got one of those things that spins around, you dial it, so.
A rotary?
Well, thank you for coming and talking to us about this, Quinn. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep,
You bet.
thank you, Quinn. Thanks. That'd be the project.
Yep.
I would just add that the current concrete tee boxes were an Eagle Scout project from a few years ago.
Okay.
And I know you're looking at this as an action item next on the agenda. These just continual enhancements and updates with our parks, and certainly with our disc golf, which is for a number of years been a popular sport. This will be a nice additional enhancement with your approval.
Next up, we need to receive and file Park and Recreation minutes from July 12th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Linder.
Roll call Shaven. Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, and then look what's up next. Approve the Eagle Scout service project for the T-pad signs at the disc golf course in Pioneer Park.
I'll make that motion. Seconding everybody.
Faster.
Motion by Lindberg, second by Peterson. It was like almost a
Roll call,
unanimous
Shaven.
motion there.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Power of persuasion, Quinn, good job.
Yeah. I'm gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah.
He does need a signature if you
Okay.
allow an approval, so he can proceed.
Oh,
Is that what I just?
After the approval,
Yeah.
so would you like an additional signature from the mayor, is that, or something that,
Like names on it, so.
oh, sure, on his application.
Yeah.
Understood.
Technically, he can't fundraise or do anything until
Yeah,
his.
yeah.
Approval.
Completely signed.
Good thing you didn't ask for some money.
Yeah.
A few seconds here to wait.
The luck, sir.
Yes, good luck.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
that. Appreciate it.
Next up, we need to review Public Safety Committee minutes from July 11th, 2022. Motion to approve those.
Motion, second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Kroger.
Roll call Shaven. Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Get here, but on my right ear. I guess I heard you first at the time. Out of that, we have a recommendation for city employees who volunteer on the Shelby County Fire EMS Department to respond to call-outs during normal working hours with pay per supervisor approval to add the language to the city employee handbook. So that's something we need, we've looked at it. You want to address that at all, Gene? Just what we're doing, I guess?
Yeah, the Public Safety Committee, if any of you feel free to type in here what your recommendation to council is. We've had a few volunteers in the past on city staff, so this will provide clarification as to how it's managed from a timekeeping standpoint. It certainly will also help show support of those who are, are volunteer paramedic EMS, fire EMS, present and future. I also believe there's some discussion that as we look to employers in the private side, that volunteers are crucial to our combined system of fire and EMS. And by clarifying this and providing this for our own employees, that will be a model for those on the private side as well. And we had our labor attorney review this just for.
And she added bullet number 3. That's the.
Your addition that you sent out?
Yes. Which was added after the packet, which item 3 is this paid leave shall not include time off for training or volunteer emergency for the training purposes. It's for the active emergency calls.
Jane, I know I had asked or sent a question to you about, does this need to be signed and in their personnel file or not? No?
No, it doesn't need to be signed in there. It will be actually inserted into our employee handbook.
Just in the handbook? Okay.
And also with timesheets and timekeeping, as it indicates here, we noted on timesheets as well, that both the employee and supervisor sign.
Very good. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve that?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Rudolph.
Second, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
Review the employee handbook updates to reflect the union contract memorandum of understanding language. Is that one? Does we rattle that one off, or you want to take this one, Gene?
This is previously approved through you and also was added to the contract. The desire here is to keep it consistent with the employee handbook. So this mirrors, these are the only 2 areas on the pay and holiday, as we had previously reviewed and approved with the union agreement. So this just adds it, memorializes adding it to the handbook. Any comments or questions, happy to field those.
Hearing none, is there a motion for that one?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Peterson.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Oh, looks like we're good. I can't really see this next one. D.
I'll make the motion.
Just hold your horses. Accept the resignation from Greg Blatt, Councilmember Ward 4, effective July 31st, 2022. Should be a lot of discussion on this one.
You're gonna be sad to
If
see you
not-
go.
I'm going to miss being on council. I really will.
He has some good reasons.
I have understand.
We understand.
Valid points.
All right, we'll make it short and sweet. Anybody got a motion on that one?
I'll make the motion
Second.
Isn't something new yet.
Motion by Lindberg, second by Kroger.
What's that?
Roll call, Shaven.
Did you want to share his actual resignation notice that?
I don't know, I mean, this one is the same I had in my packets, I don't know which one's real. But, to whom it may concern, I, Greg Blatt, am resigning from the City Council seat as representative of Ward 4 as of July 31st, 2022. It's been my pleasure serving the City of Harlan. I will greatly miss working with all members of the city leadership and employees of the City of Harlan. I believe we have vastly improved the position of the city over the last 6.5 years. However, I have 4 children in various school activities. I do not want to miss their competitions. I also pledged to resign my seat if and when I was elected to the school board. What'd you get, by 1 vote? Is that what you got?
Not
You got in?
2.
Yeah.
Not even 2.
Thanks again to all I've had the pleasure with working with. I'm sorry you had to put up with me. I trust our community is in excellent hands. Sincerely, Greg Blatt.
Yours was a swing vote.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a tie?
Can't be a tie because I'm going to abstain.
Roll call.
Okay, Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
And I've noted Councilmember Platt as abstaining.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you a lot.
Thanks, Greg.
Appreciate your service.
We've got something for you here in a little bit, so
You're not done till
don't jump up and run out.
Yeah, fine.
Now, next up, we'll consider filling the seat, council seat of Ward 4 by appointment and public notice of the intent to appoint. I think we just went through this not too long ago.
Yes, as we've had
Process.
some recent experience with this, with the mayor transition and Jay stepping in the mayor role and welcoming Kyle. So we have had a little bit of repetition with this process in the last year. And by state statute, there are guidelines as to how you as a governing body can determine to fill the position. One is through holding a special election, which most communities and ours in the past have generally not gone that route. One key item there is the cost to hold that special election. And then the other is by statute, it is within a 60-day period of that resignation date. And the process that you followed in the past has been to get the word out, seek interested parties to fill out a notice of interest, which we have some of those freshly available and copied, I'm sure, and then determine the dates in which you want to have a deadline for those nominations or notices of interest. Consider if you've got multiple candidates, you could hold an information question and answer, and then appoint them, make the recommendation, I should say, at the last August meeting, 2 meetings in September, to actually make that appointment within that 60-day window. Anything you would add, Jane?
Yeah, nope, that's,
So do we need to set some of those dates now
Yes.
I
then?
think it'd be good if you could have some discussion around what those dates could be, so we can...
Before we do the motion, as far as how we're going to do it, we need to probably discuss
yeah.
how we're going to do it in time. Okay.
Did we do a month last time?
Was it 30 days with mine?
Yeah, it was,
From the end of, so the end of July to probably the end of August, or was it 30 days, or just, is it a time period we just decide?
it's a time period you decide. It has to be within 60 days. So, I mean, we can get the notice out in the newspaper and on our website and on our, our Facebook, different things like that. We can get it out. And, but we'd like to be able to say that the form needs to be returned by whatever date you decide, but it's got to be prior to whatever meeting of those 3. If you want the last meeting in August, first meeting in September, or last meeting in September.
Does it have
And
to
if you
be?
have that deadline a week before, it would allow you to determine if you wanted to hold the question.
So that meeting would be the 16th of August, is that?
16th, I would suggest the 16th of August or the 6th of September. That would give you some time to meet with them. And
Do the 16th.
16th.
16th of August, have
First week of
the
September, I'll be
have the
gone.
applications in?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, so what meeting do you want it addressed at? What meeting do you want it on the agenda for?
Probably September 2nd, September 6th then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
September 6th, all right.
give you approximately a month for.
Turned in by the 16th, okay?
Anything else that needs to be in that motion then besides the date? No? Somebody
Maybe
want-
for the public, would you want to get very generic, what Ward 4 really is? I mean, the
Yeah,
major
the
streets
blue.
intersection.
Yep, so
Or
I
the-
have
the
a
red,
nice visual
the red.
on the screen for you. So the area in red, generally the southeast quadrant of Harlan would be eligible individuals for that Ward 4 seat. And this is available on the city website. Also, feel free to stop in City Hall with getting clarification on those boundary lines.
So are you able to post that like yet this week, or is that something that can't until officially after the 31st, when it's officially?
We can post it because it will state that his resignation is effective July 31st. So we can go ahead and post it.
Perfect.
If you're on the other side.
So they can stop by and pick up the form
Pardon?
now. They can pick up the form now
Yep.
if they wanted to.
Yep.
And submit it
They
whenever
can
they want to, as long as it's in by
download it
this-
off of our
okay.
website.
Yeah, or Facebook, print out, that's.
Yep.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to that effect?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Lindberg.
Who's
Get those
seconding?
dates, Jane?
Kyle.
Okay. Yes, I got the dates.
Great.
They're going to make the appointment at the September 6th meeting, and they would like the forms returned to City Hall by August 16th, so that gives them some time to review the applications. Considerations.
Jane, I think I'll abstain from that since it's my seat.
Okay. Got that noted. Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
Roll call, Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next up, a request from Harlan Senior Center Board to consider decreasing the monthly dining room rent. I know there are some folks here. Is there someone who wants to speak to that for the council?
Yes, good evening. I'm Cindy Jewell. I'm the secretary treasurer of the board, and I've been on that board probably 8 to 10 years. I've got some other members here, Robert Dickinson and Dorothy and Russ Mingus are here too. How it's been working is Connections has been paying $100 a month. That's for the kitchen and mainly the office, and that's a written contract. And as far as I know, it's been customary that the board has been paying $100 a month too, and that's mainly been for the dining room and the other rooms that are used for various activities like quilting. They had a pool room and that type of thing. And to make that, we as a board were paying been paying $100 a month, and requesting that get lowered to $50. And mainly, the reason for that is to raise that money, we have to do fundraising. And our board members are getting older. We used to have a pancake sausage supper, and we're not able to do that anymore. And then we went into the craft fair, and we were having that during Harvest Fest in October. And we had a person that was always contacting the crafters and lining them up, and we've lost that person too. And the usage by the seniors is down, especially with COVID. Basically, the dining room, there's maybe 4 people a day average, that kind of thing. And there's not the activities going on any longer. There used to be bingo and cards, and there used to be pool room, and that's not happening anymore. And the quilters are just using the one room one morning a week. There is a group that meets for coffee there. And just because our members are getting older and that kind of thing, it's hard to do the fundraising. We're just asking as a way to stretch the money that we have out longer to keep things going as long as we can, that we get the decrease. Any questions?
So if you're not doing the fundraising, do you just pass the hat then to people that come? Or how are you
Well,
paying
we
them?
can't really pass the hat per se either. The money that's collected there for the meals goes to Connections. And so we probably have to go out to the businesses in the city and ask for money, that type of thing. I don't know what kind of response we would have with that. It just makes it really difficult with the members getting older and stuff, because most of the board members are in their 80s now, so.
Anybody have any thoughts on?
I'm sorry.
That's my thought, that, you know, citizens Harlan.
Yeah.
It's trivial, not to the city. I'd go even lower, in my opinion. You guys can all differ from that, but I'd say just charge them $1 a month. That way they don't have to fight with it at all. It's not going to.
What does that money come in for?
I mean, be enough of an effect.
Just
Goes into the Turk Center, the revenue, rent.
History on the center, and I don't have this maybe as articulate as maybe others who have experienced that, but as you may recall, quite some time ago, the former Laurel School, before that was redeveloped, was the active site for the senior center, and then as that facility was removed, as well as about the time that the Turkelson Activity Center and a focus there through that planning with the city and leaders at that point was to provide that as an activity area and center for seniors, which was also of interest to Mr. Turkelson at that time. So that's how we got to present day.
But it's really for the seniors. I mean, that's the whole premise of that facility is, I mean, that's a big part of it. So, I'm with Greg.
As long as they promise not to go partying on the extra. Actually, in my line of work, that's okay.
Make the motion, Greg.
So Jane, is that, I mean, is
I'll
that?
make the motion.
Do you have any concerns with that?
Not
a
at all.
month rent.
Okay, I'm with you.
Second.
Wait,
Motion by Platt.
okay, can you repeat that? What was your motion?
$1 a month.
$1 a month.
Okay,
$1 a month, how's that
$1 a
sound?
month. Second by Peterson.
Will that work?
Yeah, that'll work.
roll call, Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Okay.
Next up is.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Thanks for coming tonight, so. City Administrator's Report.
Pass along a few updates and activities, share with the public, as well as provide you a report that the last fiscal year for our Vets Auditorium, another activity center and event center, saw its highest usage since 2008 with over 80 events at the Veterans Auditorium, and already 40 events scheduled at that facility for next year. So great to see Kelly Miller keep both those centers active and operational post-COVID. Our yard waste site, just awareness for the public that with tree removal, obviously ash tree and emerald ash borer, that just a reminder, we're looking to provide more signage down there that any limbs, branches over 4 inches is not designed for the yard waste site. Appreciate the public's cooperation. That's over the past number of months, that's about the only extent of non-compliance. So just ask for the public's awareness and support of that. So just after an active weekend, people doing a lot of yard work, that brush pile does get fairly full, and if it's more than 4 inches, it gets much fuller. So we do ask for that cooperation. But the feedback we've heard, and I think many of you have heard, that since reopening that or providing that service, it's a highly desired between grass clippings and leaves and the branch area, brush area. So we are working, just to review the sample schedule with Snyder and Associates with our stream bank mitigation down on Exchange Street. Expect we'll be looking at some design plans and moving forward on bids first part of September. I'll keep you posted on that, working through that schedule with our consultant. We do not have a start date yet with our mill and overlay. With Western, was looking possibly the end of July here. And once again, we'll push that out on social media. If it's your first time hearing it, the two primary areas are Lincoln Avenue from Morse all the way out to the highway, and also 7th Street from Hill down to Dye Street, the two primary areas that we'll be doing the mill and overlay. Reminder that Thursday evening, some of you signed up for the informational overview and education on ICS, Incident Command for elected officials. So just a reminder of that on your calendars. Next Monday, we have a follow-up with public safety and looking at what contingency plan might look like if Harlan Fire were to have an ambulance to provide transport and response. So that's next Monday at 11:30 for the Public Safety Committee. Just a reminder of that meeting. A couple final items. The business district sign that was formerly over Cyclone Avenue down at 7th Street was an old blue sign. Was taken down, quite aged. That had remained down. We're looking at additional sign options. We're not looking to put the sign back up that spans the street. A couple of reasons. The maintenance and also equipment and ag equipment and such is getting taller, much larger. An option we're looking at, and actually we've seen a couple of designs already, it would be a blade sign, a large blade sign. So a blade sign is, didn't bring a sample, but certainly share at a future session here. But it'd be in the same, the downtown street marker signs, which are in the more italicized calligraphy, would be a historic downtown sign we're looking at, approximately 3 foot by 8 foot. That would be on the existing pole that would have arrows pointing the historic downtown at Cyclone Avenue. So just a thing we're working on there as far as how that sign would be replaced to provide direction and attention to the historic downtown. And the last couple of items is Mike Hadfield, been at our wastewater treatment plant for 20 plus years, is going to be retiring. So we'll be having cake and coffee next
The 29th.
Friday the 29th, starting at 3:30. So if anyone could be here for that, just to share appreciation for Mike. And the last item I have is I'll be out of the office tomorrow. I've got a family funeral in Central Iowa, but I'll be back on Thursday. And happy to address any questions or comments that you have. So a fairly short report for Greg on his last session.
You could have skipped it from our last meeting.
Okay, thanks, Gene.
Thanks, Gene.
Next up is the mayor report, and the only thing I have, what I should add was I should check with Amanda. Most times when you leave a position like schools, like you check with your fines, if you had any fines at the library that you have to take care of or anything. So maybe this won't be official until, just want to give you a certificate of appreciation to Mr. Blatt for his time that's been spent up here. He's next to me right now. He's kind of rotated through here. 6 years, is that what we're talking about? And
A little over.
and a key to the city.
Well, excellent.
It's even gold.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
One more picture.
Great smiles.
Chalk it down in history.
Thank you very much.
I thought you were gonna get tasered. Experiment, it's looking for.
They still could be around the corner, yeah.
I didn't even ruin that yet.
That's all I've got from my chair. So we will move on to Todd Valine, Shelby County Chamber and Commerce Industry Update.
Well, good evening. Just a couple of very, very quick items, just to let you know some of the things that have been happening recently. Last week, we were very lucky and blessed to have an opportunity with Oak Road Consulting. So that's Harlan Sorensen's group. Harlan has been consulting all over the country, all over the world, actually, for many, many years. And he sets up peer groups of common business types. So the one that happened to be here last week, and they kind of shared some of their time with us, were IT owners from all over the country. So they're all people who started from scratch, built their own IT businesses, and sold them off for, you know, they're all doing very well in life now. And as part of this program, there's kind of like 4 pillars that they work through. When they first get started, they work on their business plans to make them solid. Then they move into what they call life plans. You know, where do you, the business owner, want to be when you get to the end of your path? Then they work on, of course, succession planning for their business, and then finally, legacy planning. What mark do you want to leave on your team? And that's really kind of what Harlan's was looking at doing and is looking at doing for us, is part of his legacy plan is to, you know, giving back to Shelby County. And so we had some business owners that were able to participate in this process. So we were able to kind of bring some of our business owners in. They could talk about their pain points, what's giving them problems right now. At the same time, we had Mayor Jay, myself, Kevin Campbell, and Jenny from the school. We all got a chance to address these people about what our community is and why our community is a place for them to keep an eye on. What was great about it is they actually came back to us with telling us how much they really appreciated the community of Harlan with their time here. So we look forward to doing more of that, forming more of these peer groups within Shelby County, and you'll be seeing more of that moving forward. The other thing I want to talk about is we had our all members meeting today for the chamber. So we were able to report that we had a very solid financial year. We netted $33,000, although we kept a little bit of that back for some programming that we're going to be doing in 23, including trying to make Shelby County a home-based Iowa community. Then the other idea that we introduced is we're going to call it intentional targeting. And we're actually going to be looking at 3 different levels: lifestyle, work skills, and people who work remotely. So some of the examples that we talked about today: lifestyle. Somebody who is living in Minneapolis right now could relocate to Shelby County, keep their income level at the same level, and give themselves a 35% raise. There's a 35% cost of living difference between Minneapolis and here. So we'll be targeting those types of opportunities. Even Omaha, and this is kind of older numbers, I think the percentage is actually be higher now, is 14% more expensive to live in Omaha than it is to live in Shelby County. We'll also be targeting work skills. So at the same time now, I need to find a lineman for the utility. So I identify linemen within a couple 100 miles radius, and we tell them about Shelby County. We tell them about the opportunities that we have here. It could be for meat cutters, it could be for whatever we need, the positions we need to fill. Exactly. So
CDL driver?
CDL drivers, yes. Although that'd be a difficult competition because everybody needs CDL drivers right now. But you don't know, we might have somebody who's right now a CDL driver in a major metro that would be very interested in moving to a small rural community. And then finally, those who work remotely. We'll be taking our fiber network numbers, comparing them to other markets. And when we see where we have an advantage, we'll let those people who are working remotely in those markets know we have an advantage here that you might be interested in. So that'll be kind of our target over the next year, get this intentional targeting done. And in some cases, we might not do what we have always done. We might try something new, just to see what we can get to happen. So those are the 2 things that we've been working on over the last couple of weeks, and what we're planning to work on moving forward. Any questions?
It's a good members meeting today.
It was a really good members meeting. I was really happy with it. That was the 2nd largest turnout we've had. Of course, first largest turnout what we had was my first year when they wanted to see what the news guy was all about. But after that, so it was really a good meeting. Really enjoyed it. Yep. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Joe Ruschenberg, Harlan Municipal Utilities.
Good evening. Probably most of these items I kind of touched on probably the last meeting, but just kind of want to go back over and let you know kind of where we're at. Talked about obtaining some easements for the additional power supply for the sewage treatment plant. Kind of got those put together, sent to the property owners so at least they can review or their attorneys review, so we get that process going for our new water project, since that'll be part of that project. Another easement we're working on is with Essentia. We're adding a new well in the east well field, which would be, which borders with Essentia's property. So for the DNR, we have to have legal control over part of their property. We have legal control for a 200-foot radius area, just so they don't build anything that could jeopardize that aquifer or that water supply. Working on that, got something sent to them, or at least met with them. So we're continuing to kind of get that moving forward for the project. Kind of touched on rate increase as far as with the water. That will be coming up here, hopefully this fall yet. Meeting actually with John Burmeister with PFM, I think so he's also. Looking at meeting with him on August 4th. That way we should have all our numbers from this past fiscal year, combine that with what we're projecting the cost of this new project to be, so we can try to get our, build back our reserves in the water department, and then also hopefully cover our funding with the new project. Try to hopefully get one increase to hopefully cover that change, but he's going to be in town. We'll try to get him numbers, and he'll try to work with us to see where those rates need to be set at. We do, speaking of that project also, we have a meeting set up with Municipal engineering on the 26th of this month. Hopefully they sit down and kind of finalize those plans so we're ready maybe to go out to bid September time frame. And that's dependent on, we still got DNR review for the wells themselves as far as review for construction permit and approval. So it's kind of dependent on how quick they'll turn around with their review of the project or the plans to where we can go out for bid. Lastly, and I touched on this I think the last meeting, upcoming board meeting here on the 28th. We'll be approving to go out to bid for the inspection of the 69K power line, where they'll inspect the poles, possibly do some treatment, and then look at what needs to be replaced. So this project would be just for that inspection, and then once they find out during that inspection if there's poles that need to be replaced or anything, then there would be an actual project developed for that or a set of plans to actually do the replacement or upgrade. Any questions? All right.
Thanks, Joe. Next, I would look for any public comments from anyone. Seeing none, hearing none, then I would look for a motion to enter into closed session.
Motion.
Well, we need to read it off first, probably to. Or just
Yeah, you need to read that, yeah.
need to read that.
Yeah,
We need to get a motion to do this, correct? I need to look to enter into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5 subsection 1G to avoid disclosure of specific law enforcement matters such as current or proposed investigations or inspection or auditing techniques or schedules, which if disclosed would enable law violators to avoid detection. Is there a motion for that?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Peterson.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Okay, roll call, Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindbergh.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.